right. So everybody's here then. How is everyone?
Alive.
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 That's good.
George's alive too.
I mean,
Good. I
that's
think
always
we
good.
prefer you that way.
Yeah. It's true. All right. Okay. So, thing I wanted to ask everybody is I might have someone come in as a kind of a guest player, I guess, next week. Or not next week, but next time. Um, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Okay.
Fine with me.
Yep.
He's a friend of mine and he had an interesting idea, so I'm going to try it. All right.
Beware of guest players. I've ran into this before. They ended up
What?
brow. We got fucked up.
They ended up what?
There was two friends of my original DM back in the day, and they were visiting him, so they decided to play. And they played two brothers that were traveling. Well,
Okay.
they were drow, and they kind of messed us up and stuff like that.
Oh, that's nice. I'm just trying it out. Okay, so first things first here. Last we left off, the party had done a thing, making their way into the ruins of Draconia in search of broomstone crystals to try to create the first part of the Betrayer's Shackles. Y'all ran into a lot of kobolds. After trying to make a stand for a few minutes and letting more than a few of them on fire, you figured it was time to get out of there, and Chomp turning into a T-Rex, you all rode your way out very heavy metal style on the back of a dinosaur while throwing fireballs at a bunch of kobolds. After a while of running through the extensive ruins here and passing on your way out of the village a large skull and skeleton of what looked to be a dragon, you find yourself down one of the many turns and twists and jagged alleyways here amongst the ruins of the city as it fell 20 years ago from the sky. You've seen on the ground some smaller pieces of the broomstone, but you were looking for something fairly particular, a longish, thin piece of broomstone, two pieces actually, maybe 5 to 6 feet long. And you haven't been able to find that yet. As Chomp turns back into his gnome self, you find yourself very tired and realize that the sun has come up during all this, as you had been traveling by nights, if you remember, and you usually would have been getting to sleep by now. What do you want to do?
Take a long rest.
Yeah, we are. Are we among the ruins, or
you are? There's the giant ravine here. Dreamoth Ravine is nearly filled with large chunks of earth and rock and that are broken apart, and whole buildings that are on their side and broken around. There's ruins every way you look.
Yeah, I guess we should take a long rest. Finally.
Okay. Okay. Taking a long rest, setting up the dome and everything. You all kind of, as the sun gets higher in the sky, and Cirthus, you and Casilda kind of keep an eye out. Are you going to meld into stone?
If there's
Yeah.
stone around, yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stone. Looking about, this is a desolate kind of wasteland of a ruined. Like there's things to be seen everywhere, but very little is actually growing here. It's still the middle of winter in Exandria, and so while it was a little bit warmer in the marshlands that you had previously been coming through, here it's dry and a little windy and just kind of miserable. Um, the cold wind is constantly blowing from one direction or another. Sometimes it seems like from multiple directions through the kind of closed passages between the ruins, and yeah, there's a lot of stone. But make a perception check for Casilda. Just keep an eye out for the night.
I'm here just finding something to roll on.
Yeah, yeah.
15, modified.
Okay. As the day wears on, even with the sun up, it seems like it's cold out here. And as Casilda is kind of circling the area, as you watch through her eyes, you don't see a lot. At one point, you think you catch the sound of the yips of the kobolds in the distance, but it fades fairly quickly. You do just kind of get a sense of there's something familiar to you, but not familiar about the presence of this place, the feel of it. But you're not quite sure why. But
All right.
yeah, as the 8 hours pass, as the sun wanes into the later afternoon, the dome dissipates. You all wake up, and you have the evening and night ahead of you to explore these ruins. I'm sure that's safe. What would you like to do? Oh, and also, you all had a long rest. You can recharge your hit points and all that.
Trying to get D&D Beyond to work.
Oh.
I had it up a second ago.
Is it doing its thing?
I don't know if anybody else is having any issues.
It's being a little slow to load, but it seems to be working.
I'm not sure what to do right now.
Is it working on y'all's end?
Yeah, I'm not having any problems with it, I don't think.
Okay.
So I guess we've become nocturnal now.
Yeah, apparently. Luckily, everybody has dark vision of one sort or another.
I guess we can carefully explore some of the ruins.
Okay.
Let's see.
Who would like to take point on exploring? Because while before we were kind of going through like the wilderness and things, this is more of, oh God, this might take something different, I feel like.
Yeah,
Rather than just perceiving, you're kind of investigating now.
I can take point. There might be something good to pilfer.
Okay.
Unless anybody else wants to take point.
No, you go for it.
well, I have
Okay.
proficiency in history,
True.
and insight.
Okay. If you want, you
Jordan,
can make.
why don't you lead then?
Yeah, I can do that.
I'll still look for things to steal.
Good.
Yes. So Jordan, yeah, make a history check just to see what you know about Draconia in general. Sean's going to be right back. I guess he's having to restart his computer.
Okay. Uh, 15.
Okay. 15. You know a bit about it. Let's see here. You know it was the last of the great flying cities, or floating cities, of which there used to be many hundreds of years ago, or even thousands of years ago. This just happened to be the last one that hadn't crashed until about 20 years ago, when there had been a large war that had happened with several chromatic dragons trying to take over a good part of the world, and one of them brought down the floating cities of Draconia, almost wiping out a good number of, or almost wiping out the better part of all Dragonborn in Exandria, actually. You know that from the things you've seen around, some of the collapsed buildings, things like that, that you're probably somewhere near what at one point might have been considered downtown Draconia. There's a lot of larger collapsed buildings in this area, and yeah, you know that the Broomstone crystals, of which there were many, that hold the enchantment to levitate things. The larger ones would have been, of course, underneath the city, many of which were broken when it collapsed. So, yeah, do with that what you will.
Okay.
So,
I can lift things for you if you need
just
to.
look under stuff.
Look under rocks.
Yeah, I guess. Do you guys want to look for any kind of
Any fragments, and then maybe from that we can maybe find bigger.
or any kind of holes or caves or any kind of way to get like underneath some of these ruins? If there's anything under something.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm gonna ritual cast magic, detect magic,
Yes.
and I'll keep that going. So every time it like runs out, I'm just gonna stop and recast it, so that maybe we can, follow a trail of glowing lights.
Okay. All right. Okay, so you go ahead and cast it. That takes 10 minutes, right? Yeah.
I think
Wow.
Minutes and
Wow.
6
10
seconds.
plus whatever the normal casting.
Well, yeah. It's an action to cast usually, so yeah. So it's 10 minutes. What were you saying, Margaret?
While we're all doing this, can I be keeping an eye out for things that might be valuable to put in my pocket?
Oh yeah, of course. Make an investigation check while you're looking around.
Okay.
And while she's doing that, I think I'm gonna like just keep watch around our perimeter to make sure nothing's sneaking up on us.
Yeah, okay. Make a perception check.
Roland is
Everybody
a
make a
lousy rogue. Perception check? He got a 9
No.
for investigation.
Investigation. Perception check for Kristen. Yeah. A 9.
16.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So as Cirthus kind of hunkers down and starts kind of muttering to himself, moving his hands a bit and casting this detect magic spell. Roland, you looking around, this place, maybe it's just been picked clean by the kobolds or someone else, but you're not seeing a lot. There's a few smaller broken chunks of what looks like that same broomstone crystal around, this kind of bluish hue to it, a little cloudy. Yeah, but that's really all you're seeing. Crom, as you're looking out around the area, it can be hard to kind of pick certain things out of just the mess and the chaos of rock and dust and dirt and wind. But you do, maybe 100 meters off, and this is still daylight. The sun hasn't gone down yet. You catch what looks like a shadow just kind of move behind a half-broken column, as if something was moving to hide there.
Okay, so shadow behind a column.
Yeah, like you just out of the corner of your eye, as you're turning to look, you catch what looks like it could have been a person's shadow.
I'm gonna kind of wave my arm at Chomp and motion that I'm gonna check something out. I like put my fingers to my eyes and point that way. I'm gonna kind of walk toward the shadow thing.
Okay. As Crom kind of motions and starts casually sauntering towards the columns you saw the shadow behind, Cirthus, you finish your spell. And as the regular magic items on each of the members of the party lights up to you, you also see this very slight glow come up on small pieces of just rubble around the area. And it's 30 feet, right? Yeah, 30 feet. You know, within 30 feet of you, there's several of them. Walking over to one, you find that there's several smaller chunks of that same broomstone crystal around. It seems to, even when it's not enchanted, it holds a little bit of a magical charge, but nothing huge right next to you.
Okay.
Crom, walking over there, are you trying to look for him, or are you just kind of walking over to see? Or
Yeah,
what are we doing?
I'm doing that sneaky walk, like creeping in that direction. Looking.
Okay. And you're gonna try to do it stealthily?
Sure, I'll try.
Okay. Go for it. Roll a stealth check. Let's see if you can sneak up on this shadow.
I did pretty good. Oh, my dog is being dumb. Oh, stop.
What's your stealth?
That's number 4. Plus 1, so 18.
18.
18. Wow, that's pretty good.
Cool.
Let me see here. Whew. So, just kind of flanking around, like on the left side of this column, you come around and kind of peek over a little bit of this boulder that's kind of laying there, and you see, peeking around the opposite side of the column, a figure in kind of a threadbare, dark brown cloak. You can't quite see their face, but they seem to be holding a staff in one hand and just kind of peering around. And as they move their head, you realize this is the same drow that had camped with you the one night a few nights ago, that had asked to share your shelter.
I knew it.
And as you catch sight, Riz, right alongside you, starts to excitedly kind of tap the side of your leg and seems very excited to see this drow.
Huh. That's weird. So the drow, he sees me walking up, right?
He did not see you walking up.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay.
He is looking out. You are coming around one side. He's peeking around the other side
Oh,
at
nice.
the rest of the group. So you've come up. You managed to sneak up on him.
Okay. I'm gonna tap him on his shoulder and say, "What are you doing?"
Okay. Okay. As he jumps and lets out like a fairly high-pitched, loud squeak, he kind of trips and falls onto his side and says, "Oh, bloody hell! What are you doing? You're right about to give somebody a heart attack up in here. Hello, good woman. What seems to be yes?
He's creeping on us, dude. What the hell? Are you creeping on?
I was looking for a friend, and I just happened to come across all of you again. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
yeah. That's bullshit. Can I do an insight check? That's bullshit.
Yeah, go for it.
Totally follow.
All the rest of you hear this high-pitched kind of yelp from over where Crom seemed to have snuck away to.
I got a 3. Insight.
Oh.
No,
A 3 in insight. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a plausible story.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, but
However, Riz does not believe him.
okay. I'm gonna have him walk over toward the group. I'm gonna say, "Go that way," and give me that staff in your hand.
Oh.
Okay. Make an intimidation check.
Yeah. I hope I don't fuck this
Don't
up.
you have something that your eyepiece give you
It does. Okay.
bonus
I think it gives me
advantage?
It's advantage, yeah.
Normally I have 16.
Okay, 16. Yeah. I mean, you caught him off guard. He's already fallen. He's looking pretty scared, and he kind of hands it over to you slowly and starts kind of stumbling while watching you over one shoulder towards the rest of the group about 30, 40 feet away. The rest of you see this happening. This drow, the same drow you had seen before, Roland, especially the one you didn't like, just kind of stumbling out in front of Crom, who's now carrying a stick.
I'm gonna tell him I found this guy creeping on us. He says he's looking for his friend, but he was going the opposite way of us earlier. But I mean, maybe, I don't know.
And I think he said when we saw him before that he had already been this way and couldn't find him, so he was leaving or something.
Yeah.
That may be something that you heard before, yes.
So
As he kind of walks up to the rest of you, he says, "Well, hello again, friends. It's good to see you all once more."
wait, he didn't have that staff before, did he?
I don't know. That's a pretty liberal use of the word friend there, buddy.
Oh, everyone's my friend.
I know.
What
Ow.
what brings you to the neighborhood?
What brought you back? to the neighborhood.
I was looking for my friend, Wallace. Remember the halfling I had told you about?
Is that his name?
So you left and then came back?
Yes, well, I was worried, you see.
Uh-huh.
My turn for an insight check?
Yeah, go for it.
Ten.
10. I mean, he's obviously nervous. But you're not sure why.
I want to give the staff to Chomp. Because I don't know
Okay.
if it's magic or what. I'm just like, here, this looks like a wizard thing.
Well, do I still have detect magic going on?
You do have detect magic going on, yes.
It might just be a weapons staff. I don't know.
Yeah, the staff doesn't light up, but once again, as he comes within your range, that same small something like a small glow under his shirt shows up. Looks like it might be something hanging from a chain under his shirt.
I mentally tell everyone I'm concerned about that. I tell them that I see that glowing thing, and I don't know. I don't know what it is. I know it's magic, and concerned whether it's hiding their identity, but I'd like to see it. So if someone wants to see if we can see that thing.
Do you know what school of magic or whatever?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you would know a school of magic. Oh gosh, I can't remember the name of this school of magic.
It's called Hogwarts.
Magic. What's the name of the school of magic? Abjuration. That's it.
I believe that's like protection or like resistant magic.
So
Yeah.
I asked Chomp, or do you tell me that? I think he told me that. I think I heard him say that.
No, Cirthus, would you?
Oh, yeah. I would definitely
Yeah, okay.
inform people what I see.
Okay.
And then I asked Chomp, what kind of magic is that? What does that do?
I believe that's like a defensive or a negation protection kind of magic. I think.
Maybe. Do you want to do it?
It is. That's the kind of magic here.
Yeah.
As you are all, well, some of you are saying this kind of to each other, I guess, an aside. He's watching you intently and nervously looking back between you, and he keeps, as he watches and he's not saying anything, he keeps gripping and rubbing the inside of his left bicep. Cirthus, you especially notice this.
Is this does he have like long sleeves? Or, oh, he's in a robe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's in like, he has a cloak over his shoulders. His hood is down now, but he has kind of 3/4 length sleeves on, and he keeps, and you can't see what's there, but as he's kind of hunched over watching all of you, he keeps rubbing the inside of his bicep.
I'm going to tell him to take his shirt off. Intimidate him to take his shirt off.
Jesus.
Take your shirt off.
Do it.
Are you like waving copper pieces in the air when you say it, or
No. It's gross.
Okay, yeah, go for it, because he looks at you like, what? And obviously doesn't want to.
I got a 15.
15?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, he starts to, like, it has laces in the front, and he starts to undo the laces, kind of looking all around at all of you.
Do it.
And then he slowly, once again, looking around, takes off his shirt. You see, I mean, he doesn't work out a lot. It looks like probably he's, for a drow, he has this kind of charcoal, this like lighter charcoal colored, like ash kind of skin, and there's a couple scars on his chest. You're not sure. Looking up there, they're just small ones. And he immediately crosses his arms across his chest and just kind of holds himself.
And 3 questions.
Yeah.
1, any details about the necklace or whatever, like symbols or anything? Obviously his arm, if we see anything there, but also any third nipples?
No third nipple. Well, actually, let me roll for third nipple. Give me a second. No third nipple. So you see the amulet immediately. It's a small, it looks like silver amulet with maybe a pearl, it looks like, in the middle, or something very pearlescent. And it's on a silver chain around his neck. No symbol on it that you can tell. His arm, the part that he was rubbing, he's holding, it's the inside of his arm, and he's holding it against his chest, so you can't see anything there.
What's going on with your arm there?
Old injury. It's coming back to bother me, and I just, yes.
Surface, joint, muscle?
It's just, an old muscle pull. Just
Can I
sore.
Can I pick up a rock, and not a big rock, but medium-sized rock, and kind of toss it in his direction?
Oh no! I'm going to toss his staff back to him and say, "Here, catch."
I said it first.
Okay, rock and stick at him.
Are you throwing it hard, or are you throwing it just kind of tossing it?
Like toss,
Okay. All right.
Flexibly try to catch it and move his arms. I don't know.
Well, let me see.
Or
Yeah,
I'll just
as you throw it, like a not a huge rock, but something about fist size towards him, just kind of tossing it at him. His hands come out and he catches it like this,
Gotcha.
right in front of his chest, and now he's holding the rock in front of his chest.
What's he look like?
What's he look like?
What does the arm thing look like?
Oh, okay. Well, as his arm comes out and you all see something very familiar. And that is a line drawing of a spider, in kind of a spider motif. You see this and recognize it because you all have it on your arm as well.
Ooh, twinsies.
It's the mark that you were given by Lulf when you accidentally made that deal with her.
Cool.
Well.
Roland's going to comment on it and say, well, you have the mark of Loth. Any reason why? We're very curious.
I mean,
Funny.
well, this is from my days in the Navy. Everyone on my ship got this.
I'm going to pull my dagger and then say, tell us the truth. You sold my ancestors into slavery under Loth. You tell us now if you're working for her.
Well, that's working for her. Make an intimidation check.
I say, oh snap.
Seriously, this just got heavy.
Not very intimidating, an 11.
An 11. Okay. I mean, he seems scared enough of the dagger. He just isn't saying much.
I will gut you without a second thought.
Oh, I'm sure you would. You and your kind are the type. I'm
No,
sorry.
your kind.
Well, I'm sorry.
Your
but
kind
no.
is malevolent and treacherous.
I'm gonna step in.
I mean, I'll probably send him to violence.
Well, I step in. I put my hand up to Roland and say, "Stay your blade." I think we can all just calm down a little bit, and I reveal my tattoo, my spider tattoo, to the drow, and show him my tattoo and say that. Yes, there's no reason to be cagey or afraid.
I mean, maybe a little.
I spit on the ground.
Yeah, I try to alleviate his nervousness and tell him that that everything's cool.
And I tell him to put his damn shirt back on.
Okay. He puts the shirt back on fairly quickly. Make a what's the word I'm looking for? Persuasion check. Chomp. Make a persuasion check. That's what I was looking for.
That's a 1.
Oh, damn.
Woo, the rolling today has been, except for that stealth check, it's all been. So as you're saying this, and he's putting his shirt back on, you are suddenly distracted and by a very drab-colored butterfly that flies by, and being distracted, he takes the opportunity to start running.
Oh no! No, catch it!
Can I go after him?
Yeah, what do you want to do?
I want to try to tackle him.
Okay. To make a dexterity check for me.
Have a freezy spell?
What kind? Let's see here.
Oh, just a regular. So make a roll a d20 and add your dexterity modifier.
I'm sorry, what? What'd you say?
I said roll a d20
I couldn't hear
and add your dexterity modifier.
Whatever it is, I got an 8. Okay, dexterity? Okay, cool. That would be a 20. Let me read my letter. Number. Yeah, 26.
26?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so as he tries to dart off, he very quickly is tripped up by you as your foot just kind of shoots out and takes his right ankle out, and he falls face first, arms spread out into the dust as it just dirt flies everywhere, and he's just coughing on the ground there. Seems to have the wind knocked out of him.
Okay, while he's down, I'm going to put my dagger at his throat and say, tell us why you're here.
Like, for real.
Okay. We'll say that for the sake of this, yes. He immediately starts kind of whimpering to himself and says, "She sent me. She sent me to watch you."
No shit.
Who sent you?
Who do you think? And he points to as he rolls over, he points to the spider tattoo on the inside of his bicep.
I say we kill him now, y'all.
I wouldn't do that.
Why would Loth send you to Why?
Because she wanted to make sure that you were keeping up with your end of her bargain. That's what I was told, that you were supposed to be helping and protecting her children, of which I am one, might I add.
Well, we are too.
Well, yes, but I wasn't trying to hurt you.
You hurt my feelings. You lied to me.
I was just supposed to keep an eye on you. I wasn't supposed to let you know I was.
Well, you did a pretty pathetic job.
It wasn't my fault. She startled me.
You're pretty pathetic.
Coming up
Okay.
from behind somebody in the ruins. That's just rude.
So,
That was fun.
As this is all going on, and he says that, Crom, Riz at your side suddenly says, "Let's eat him."
Oh. Huh. I'm not hungry right now.
Oh, but they're so. These ones, they're so choice. We have to eat him.
Okay, hold that thought.
Crom, what are you talking about?
Um, just hold on. Just wait a minute. Okay, y'all just handle this guy. I'm gonna just step to the side and try to figure this out.
What, with Riz?
Yeah,
Okay.
y'all go ahead.
So,
Okay.
if you're watching us for Loth, wouldn't it be best off for us just to kill you right now so you can't report back to her?
If I don't come back, she'll only send more.
Kill them too.
It won't end well for you. You know she is a goddess.
All right, I say, so if we send you back to Loth, what are you going to tell her?
I'm going to tell her that I was following you and you found me out.
That won't look too good on you.
No, now that I say it out loud, that's not going to end very well for me. I'm not sure what I'm going to tell her. Actually, now he gets this really worried look and starts kind of chewing on his fingernails. And
because I mean, the next time we see Loth, we could tell her about that we discovered you and you really weren't doing a very good job, or we could we could just leave that out and not mention it, and you could go back to Loth and tell her what a good job we're doing.
Make a persuasion check at advantage.
Do not get a 1.
Uh, 16.
Okay. He, as you're saying this, he starts nodding, kind of looking down at the ground, and then starts, as you say more of it, he looks up at you and starts nodding harder and says, "Yes, that might work." Okay. So just so we make sure we have our story straight, though, you never saw me. I saw you, and you were doing your best to help other drow. And
So
yes,
much.
okay.
So much.
So many drow. Okay. I think we can do that.
Good.
Cool.
Okay, bye.
Run along now.
Don't let me see you again.
He kind of cringes back from you as you say that and starts to walk off. Crom, as he's walking off, Riz is seriously once again kind of like patting you on the leg, and it's like, "I'm serious. We should eat him. We should eat him.
Okay.
You don't know, but they're delicious."
Okay. So how solid is she? Is she like strictly in my brain, or is she like physically manifested? Could I slap her in the face? Is what I'm asking.
I mean, when she touches
uncross
you, when she touches you, it feels real. So you don't know. I mean, you've been able to pick her up and things like that before.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm gonna tell her to shut the hell up, and I'm gonna hit her with the back of my hand.
Oh, make an attack roll.
I'm tired of it. Like this little girl telling me what to do. I'm tired of it.
Make an unarmed attack roll.
So what do I add for that?
I believe.
Wait.
Let me see.
Oh, plus. Okay, mine's +7. So
+7, yeah.
18.
Yeah. All right. So as everybody else watches and just sees you just kind of suddenly strike at thin air, you feel your hand connect with Riz, and her face kind of whips around, the rest of her body staying still. And as it does, she turns her head back to you, and she seems to grow about another foot.
Oh shit.
And the small little nubs that seem to have been coming out of her head become longer horns.
Oh no.
Her eyes sink a little bit more into her head, and her face becomes a little bit more gaunt. At this point, she's almost the size of a full-grown human, and seems to be kind of bulking up a little bit, and says to you, "Don't do that again."
Okay. I'm a little freaked out. Okay.
Okay. But she has stopped asking you to eat the drow.
Okay, that's good. Good.
Okay. Everyone else, what are we doing? As Lawrence kind of looking back at you every once in a while jogs away, and you lose track of him around one of the turns of the many collapsed alleyways here. You are left just where you were. The sun is starting to go down. And you need to find your crystals.
Hold on.
So would I know if there's anything that I could do, or that we could do with crystal fragments, like stitched together, or use them in some sort of way?
Can we eat them?
No. Is there anything we can do with crystal shards?
Okay. Maybe make an Arcana check to see if you would know anything about like fusing crystal shards together or something like that.
Damn. That was a natural 1.
Damn.
Which is still like a 10 for you.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, it's a proficiency check, so it's a yeah. I mean, it's not quite the same, but you've never heard of anybody doing that. You have an idea that it might be possible, but you're not sure.
So should we collect these? I think I have some glue, maybe. What you doing?
Did we study some kind of map of Draconia before its fall?
I mean, you had seen some maps of Draconia from before the fall. Thinking back, I mean, and you, like I said, when Chomp was thinking earlier about this, you know that most of the large crystals were beneath the cities as they were holding them up, and in a lot of cases, the first things to hit when they crashed. Not all the time, though.
Well, I guess from what we've researched or whatever, is there any that would be more likely to survive? Perhaps one that they kept in a tower to light their castle or something.
What
Let's
was
see
under
here.
the ground?
Make an intelligence check to see if you can figure this out.
Okay. I guess that would be an 18, 17 plus 1.
Yep. Okay. So looking around you like I said, around you there's buildings collapsed all over the place, and looking around you, it comes to your mind suddenly that based on how several of the buildings a little further on are collapsed and the ones behind you are collapsed, it looks like whatever happened to this part of the city, it's like the floating island it was on, like collapsed middle first. It like split in half and into each other. Like the buildings went into each other before crashing. And you get the idea that maybe on the far side, because of the way they crashed, there might be some of those bottom crystal pieces that will still be intact because they didn't hit first.
Let's go that way.
Yeah, if we can orient ourselves towards that, I guess we should head that way.
You can do that easy enough.
Yeah, so I say we send the drow on his way and head to the edge of ruins.
Okay. So heading through, you have to somebody make a survival check, just finding your way out of the ruins here. It's a little bit maze-like.
Me do it.
Okay.
Do. Gimme. Sorry, we have to hide the dice from the dog because it likes to lick the dice. Whoa, yeah. I got a 20 and then plus 5.
Wow. I mean, getting this explanation from Cirthus, you are able to orient yourself really well. And
that really makes sense, Cirthus.
Yeah. And making your way through the kind of sideways, sometimes ruins of this part of the city, within about an hour, you all find yourself seeing fewer and fewer buildings and more growing to be larger pieces of this crystal.
Oh, thank goodness.
Until at one point you see several very large pieces of this crystal, some 20 feet long, sticking up at an angle out of a small hill here, and then another few over there, maybe about 15 feet long, and there's large pieces in this area. You seem to have found the place to be. Now, none of the pieces you see at the moment, anyway, are the exact size you need. Most of them are larger, and a couple of smaller ones. So you might have to find a way to carve off a piece. But you have found the larger crystals in any case. As you're noticing this, you also notice, as it's a little bit more clear here, just sightline wise, there's not as many collapsed buildings, not as many, as you're closer to kind of the edge of what used to be the floating island. There's less in your way. It's a more open space, and you see maybe 200-300 feet distant what looks like a statue or a monument of some type.
Let's go that way.
I want to go investigate.
Yeah, get close. I guess we need to get closer to get a better a view.
Yeah. Watch your step. There's debris. Don't fall.
There is debris. Okay,
I'm being super helpful.
so everyone moving over there. As you get closer, you see that this monument or statue, as you get closer, it's a carved statue of somebody on a pedestal. And it was very obviously based upon all the other wreckage and ruin that you've seen here. This was put here after the fall. As you get closer, you see the humanoid form of this statue is actually a dragonborn. Seems to be wearing glasses, kind of gesturing out and looking up into the great unknown, kind of in a pose.
That dragonborn looks smart.
Indeed.
Real smart. I got nothing.
Okay. History check.
Yeah, go for it.
Nice.
Uh, 20.
Oh, wow. Okay. You don't necessarily recognize the person you're looking at, but walking around a bit, you do see eventually an inscription on the bottom. Gosh, I need to find that inscription. It's etched into it, and it's 3 words. It says, "I encourage peace." And you, putting a few things together, realize that this was a member of one of the well-known higher-up families in Draconia, and even on the ruling council at the time of its fall, one Tiberius Stormwind, who was also a fairly famous adventurer and magic user, and but was assumed to have died along with a lot of the Dragonborn when Draconia fell. Yes. As this is all happening and you're figuring this out, though, Cirthus, you feel a slight vibration coming from your pack.
Okay. Vibration from my pack.
Mhm.
I guess I'm gonna look, see what the hell is going on there.
Calling you?
I know.
Looking into your pack, because you got a few things in there. You kind of unshoulder it, open it up, look in, and within there's a few books, but one of them currently seems to be just kind of shaking, kind of jiggling a little bit as you've gotten close to the statue. Specifically, it's the Book of Secrets, the item that you had found a long time ago that you could write things in and only you could read them. It's as you've gotten close to this, what you now realize is a memorial over a small tomb of this individual. It's this Book of Secrets has started to move.
Whoa.
Huh. Anybody willing to set up camp here?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like this spot.
I mean, it is open. You can see anything coming. All right. So setting up camp. It's early evening, so you don't necessarily have to set up camp right now because you had slept all day, but it is up to you.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to. I have to unattune to. I'm gonna unattune to my ring, I guess, the mind shielding ring, and I want to attune to the book again. See if anything's different with it.
Okay. Y'all good spending a quick night here?
Sure. How long does it take to attune?
I think it's a long rest.
Oh, okay. I mean, but yeah, but we can he can. I don't know.
That can help us get back on more of a diurnal schedule, so we're not always doing stuff at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I have any more drugs, I'm gonna smoke some drugs.
I assume you
I'll
must.
I'll
Somebody
take
gotta have
second.
some.
Yeah, I mean, you had like
I'm just gonna chill. If this is
a
an
sack
off,
full.
if this is an off day, I'm just gonna chill and smoke some weed.
You definitely have packets of Sood left.
Oh
Yes.
no, I didn't want to smoke Sood.
You just mean some of the drugs you had gotten in
Yeah,
Port Zune? Yes.
I thought I had some.
You did. I believe you did.
Cool.
It's easy enough to roll a joint and
Nice.
just kind of chill out for a while. With the dome.
Crumb,
Yeah. What's up? You want?
may I
some?
have one of those, please?
Yes.
And then I'll take middle watch.
Cool.
All right. So Cirthus, over the course of the night, yes.
Is it possible also to investigate more thoroughly the tomb or around there while also attuning?
You could look around a little bit, like as through Casilda's eyes, I guess. But to really have a proper long rest, you can't be up and walking around. But yeah, just like usual, you could.
Gotcha.
You could keep an eye out through Casilda's eyes, and she could be kind of flying around the tomb and looking at it and stuff like that. Make a perception check for her.
All right, that's a 21 modified.
Oh wow, that's a perceptive owl. Okay. So as she's watching out, it's a fairly well-made structure. This kind of large pedestal that now you can see probably holds either bones or something like that. That this carved figure stands up on. It's well made and fairly new compared to everything else around, pretty obviously. You don't find any other, she doesn't see any other inscriptions or anything like that on it. Over the course of the night, kind of concentrating on the book and still feeling some vibration out of it every once in a while, and kind of looking through it and seeing some of your own writings that you had previously put in there. Closer to morning, as you're waiting here, some other writing starts to show up. It looks like journal entries. And based on what it says, at least part of what it says, you think this might have been Tiberius Stormwind's book at some point. there's things talking about the war and fighting with chromatic dragons and all these things, and eventually near the end of these inscriptions, kind of in a much more hurried hand than the rest, is what looks like an incantation in oh gosh, what is it in abyssal, which I believe you.
Yeah, I think I can read that.
I think you
can.
can read abyssal. Yeah. Basically, looking at this, you're fairly sure this is at least part, if not the entire incantation, to of a physical banishment of a very powerful being. You get the idea that maybe he was trying to use this on one of the ancient dragons, to try to banish them to another plane or something like that. But it obviously did not work. But from what you can see, it looks promising.
Okay, so it's kind of like a work in progress.
Yeah, it would seem so. You can
Okay.
also, as you move a little bit around inside the dome during the night, you notice that the writing is stronger when you're closer to the tomb. It seems that something about the magical nature of this item and its former owner means that being close to even his bones seems to bring his writing back.
Okay. So I get the feeling that if I leave this area, that I'm not going to be able to read this anymore. Is that correct?
Yeah, you get the feeling that if you left the area around the bones, you wouldn't be able to read it anymore.
Okay. Am I able to translate it, write it so that I don't know if Chomp can read it or not, but that way we have a hard copy essentially, so we can go through it, maybe perfect it.
Yeah, you could probably do that. You're unsure if the abyssal nature is an integral part of the incantation or not, but it's, I mean, you know abyssal, and you've done this work before for money, translation, so you could definitely do that.
Yeah, I figure I could, if it is, I could go back,
Yes.
translate it back, but this way Chomp and I or anybody else can maybe, look at it, see if we could do anything with it.
Okay. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah, take a screenshot of the book.
Well,
Run it through Google Translate.
I have no idea. Do we have, I guess, am I able just to use the book and the other pages to transcribe it?
I mean, you could do that, yeah.
Okay. Well, I would like to do that. I don't know how long it's going to take to do that, but I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay.
Can I go over near the tomb and look for whatever may be there? That might be fun for a rogue to have.
Okay, make an investigation check.
Natural 1. Roland is just off his game. He's so upset about that drow.
That drow just threw you off.
Well, they're ancient enemies.
Yes. So looking around, yeah, other than some small nighttime moths, you don't find much around here. There's rocks and some more rocks. And that's about it. right. Coming to the morning. Oh gosh. Coming into the morning, the sun comes up, a welcome sight, as you had not really woken up with the sun in going on a week now, I guess. And you all feel very well rested at this point, having only spent maybe 4 or 5 hours doing anything in the last 48. But yes, we'll say, for the sake of this, Cirthus, that you are able to transcribe everything over into your own hand, so it's saved for you. And as the dome once again fades out and kind of dissipates off into mist, you are left in the sunrise in the midst of this ravine at the edge of the ruins. What would you like to do?
So these rocks that we found, they seem to be the proper size that we need.
Well, there's none that are the size that you need. Some are much bigger.
We need to go in the tomb.
If we break a piece off, does it
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Well-
I don't know.
yeah, would it I mean
What? What are you talking about?
the rocks that we need, the crystals.
Uh-huh.
If it's too big, if we break some off, can we make it the right size without breaking whatever magic or crystal
What do you mean
structure?
it's too big? I can carry it. I'm strong.
I mean, there's several around the area that are like 20 or 15 to 20 feet long, and fairly thick, like, maybe a foot or more in diameter. They are pretty heavy.
Okay.
You might be able to break a piece off, though. You would just have to figure out how you're doing that.
Crumb, you don't have to carry it. I've got a bag of holding.
Okay.
And then because we need your arms open to fight.
Okay.
I think the bag of holding has a size constraint on, like, it has to be able to fit into the bag, or I don't know. A 20-foot long crystal sounds big.
Yeah,
Well,
you can't just fit anything into a bag of holding.
Oh, I know, but if we're taking a smaller piece, maybe it can fit in. How big a piece do we need?
You need something about around 6 feet long.
I mean, my first instinct would be to just try taking a crack at one of the big crystals with a weapon of some sort. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not a geologist.
Who wants to take a crack at it?
I don't think I have the right weapons to. Most of my stuff is finesse.
We all turn and look at Crom. Crom?
What? You want me to slap it? I'll slap it.
No, I think using a weapon might be your best bet.
Okay. Well, I got this one and this one and this one and this one. Which
yes,
weapon? Which weapon?
Use your jeweler's cutting blade. Like a diamond wheel, or a
diamond wheel.
Yeah, something that a jeweler would use.
Fresh out of that. Are you a tinkerer?
Yes, I'm a rock gnome tinkerer, but I don't know anything about stones and rocks. That's crazy.
Are you for real?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, okay, whatever. I can try. I don't want to mess it up, but whatever.
I mean, there's a few of them around.
Okay. So yeah, I've got a bludgeoning and a slashing. What do you think would be best, Chomp?
I guess bludgeoning, because you just kind of want to
Yeah.
fracture it. I think a
Okay.
sharp edge, you're just gonna like not gonna accomplish much. So
Okay, I'll take my head basher.
Okay. Make
I'll go into a
Make a-
rage. No, I'm just joking.
make a nature check real quick.
Me?
To see if you can like ascertain the crystalline structure here.
16.
Okay. So looking at one of the larger pieces, you can see like you kind of get a sense for how the crystals were probably grown over time, and you can see where there might be a fault line, and you decide to take a crack at it. So go ahead and make a attack roll.
Oh.
So you're like, what is it? Flint mapping a
I got
magical crystal.
I got a 12.
Yeah. A 12.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
slippery.
it's a large piece of crystal. It's not that hard to hit, and you do connect with it. Roll for damage.
Okay. 8.
8. Okay, so on the first hit, you just come across like a baseball swing right at the spot you think will crack it, and as you do, like this crack just kind of like lightning bolts up a good chunk of this thing. It doesn't quite fall off, but you can see that it seems to have broken in a way that it looks like it's going to break off nearly exactly what you were looking to break off.
Cool. I hit
But
it
it might
again.
need it. Yeah, go ahead and roll for another hit.
24. And
Oh,
then
gosh.
damage is 6.
Okay, so as you hit it one more time, the crack continues, and then you hear a snap as it kind of breaks off and slides to the ground alongside, and you find you have a fairly long, maybe 8 to 10 inches wide, a couple inches thick, and about 6 feet long piece of this crystal that you've cracked off.
Cool. Nice. I did it.
There you go.
You guys, I did it.
cool.
Awesome.
It's not my job to figure out how we transport it. I did the hard part.
All right. So you all have you're the first part of the betrayer's shackles. You need to get it back to Singorn, to the spires of Urek.
Somebody teleport us.
How do you
Sarthis,
want to
don't
do
you?
this?
Sarthis, can't you access an interdimensional plane we can put it in or something? I seem to
Sounds
remember
like
you
a
have that
really-
ability or something.
Sounds like a really awesome idea, but not right now.
Okay.
What about you, Chomp? You got an idea?
Well, I've been working on some stuff, but I don't know if I have the proper supplies.
What do you need?
Some rare inks and chalks infused with valuable gems.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been working on some FTL technology.
Okay.
FTL, it's a facilitated teleportation loop.
Okay. Good one.
That's pretty good. So you know that looking around as you've been going through the ruins, you have not seen much in the way of anything. You doubt you would be able to find something here in Draconia. You are aware, though, that there is a town south of here where those dragonborn that had lived in the actual ravine below the cities, they called themselves Ravenites. They all had no tail. They have moved south and created a settlement there called Zarthith Kittril, where there's a few thousand of them, and it's a fairly bustling little trade community. You might find some stuff there.
Do you want us to stay here and babysit the crystal, or you go, or we?
How far away is it?
Oh, maybe a day's travel.
I say we just all go. We at least know where we can get the crystals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was the hard part.
Yeah, and I was gonna say we should just take it with us, but yes, even if Crom could carry it, it's
I mean,
also.
I'm not the only one that has hands, but okay.
I think we
It'll-
should put it at the feet of the tomb or the tome and come back and get it when we have what you need.
Yeah, I also don't know if it's a good idea to just be walking around with this giant crystal. It's a little conspicuous.
Yeah. A chip of their old technology.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Travel.
So
So I guess we just stick this, like behind a rock and head to town.
all right. So heading into town, you kind of do your best to hide the crystal amongst. I mean, it's easy enough. There's other crystals all over the place here, so you just put it somewhere back where you know you're going to find it.
Yeah.
Okay, remember everybody.
Okay, so-
3C.
Traveling down to your south over the course of the rest of the day, you find yourself coming more into parts of the ravine that are less ruinous and more just kind of desolate. Every once in a while you see a smaller piece of crystal or a piece collapsed wall or something that might have been thrown here due to the force of the crashing city. But eventually you see almost nothing. Just sand and dirt and rock. And at one point, though, near the end of the day, you come up a small rise, and the sides of the ravine around you, which have been coming closer and closer together again, kind of drop away, and you find yourself looking downhill towards, it looks like a shore, maybe of a bay, and a good-sized settlement is there. You see a couple small ships and even smaller fishing boats out in the bay beyond. And as the sun is going down a little bit off to your right, as you're coming to here, you believe you find yourself in Zarthith Kittril, or just Kittril. As you walk into town, you find many of the inhabitants call it. Coming in, you're surprised to see it's an odd thing to see this many dragonborn in one place. All of them in this town seem to have no tail, which is strange. You've seen a few of these before out in the wide world, but usually when you've seen dragonborn, they tend to be well-to-do and they have a good-sized tail. None of these do, and it seems like probably 90% of this town is Dragonborn. Or as you probably know, they refer to themselves as Ravenites. A little bit of the history there, you know that they were kind of oppressed previously by the tailed Dragonborns before the fall of Draconia. Many of who died in the kind of great cataclysm. There are a few though humans and dwarves and what's up?
Huh?
What's going on?
Oh, sorry, nothing.
There are even a few humans and dwarves and even the odd halfling that you see in this town. And it's fairly lively. But coming in, what would you like to do?
I guess. I guess we need to look for yeah, some kind of magic shop or like a apothecary, somebody who sells that type of supplies.
Okay.
Or a print.
Yeah. I mean, asking around, make an investigation check just to see what you can find around town here. It's not an especially big town.
Nice. That's a 24.
24. Okay. So investigation of 24. You find yourself in the middle of a large market that seems to be, even at this late hour, going into sundown, to be fairly thriving. There's the smell of different spices and fish that are coming very strongly from certain carts and stalls around the area. You see shops behind some of these carts that are more established. A lot of this town, it's only been built in the last 2 decades, and so much of it looks haphazard, even in some cases like it was just kind of thrown up, not expecting to stay here, but eventually it became permanent because they had nowhere else to go. You do fairly quickly, though, find a place that seems to be selling different types of herbs and apothecary type stuff. It's a simple shop with a couple of bundles of dried herbs hanging in the window. That kind of denotes it as a shop. But walking in, you find yourself kind of overwhelmed by this heady odor of saffron and different oils, and some very nice smelling, others they would almost be nice if they just weren't so strong. It's kind of overwhelming. It's almost like walking into Bath and Body Works, except if Bath and Body Works was run by hippies.
But
And then there behind the counter, sitting there, you see a kind of brownish bronze colored dragonborn with an apron on that seems to be just sitting reading.
Excuse me.
Yes. How can I help?
I am looking for specialty inks and chalks, scribing materials.
Inks, chalks, we have some of these things here. Yeah. Specifically, what will the use be? Is this going to be something with great precision that is needed, or are you looking for certain colors? Can you elaborate?
Spell components for a conjuration spell.
Ah, okay. We don't get much of that here, but Yes, we can find some. Let me go see Beatrice. She calls out in this voice loudly behind her, over her shoulder, out the back of the shop, and you see a young dragonborn, maybe just a little bit taller than you, Chomp, runs in, very similar scale tone to the dragonborn you've been talking to, and as they run in, they say, "Yes, mother," and the dragonborn tells them to bring in the chalks from out the back. I need to find some inks, but please, the crate with the chalks, bring it in. And they run off and get it. Looking about and finding some inks, and eventually the young dragonborn coming back in with the chalks. You see pretty much everything you need here. The rare ink they have is actually a derivative of a local plant. It seems to be very good ink, actually. Has even a nice shine to it, almost when she uses it for kind of as a sample of writing for you. Is there anything else you will be needing for this?
Crystals? Gems? Minerals?
No, I think that's
You don't need gems or minerals?
no, or infused inks infused with precious gems. That sounds like the right stuff.
No, all right.
I don't know.
In that
Does
case,
is Surthus in here with me? Surthus, do you are you looking for any components?
I don't think so. Not right now.
Cool.
and so how much of this will you be needing to buy?
Let's see. I don't really know how often I could run across a shop like this, so may need to buy like
All of it?
let's
I mean,
say
you could.
like
I got money. Take care of you.
50 like 200 gold pieces worth.
200.
Well, how much?
Chomp.
And then would that?
I mean, I don't know how much is there or how much that is.
I mean,
Chomp.
we could definitely do 200.
Yes.
We have 1,000 platinum in my bag of holding for the group. 409 gold pieces. Why don't we buy as much as we need and just pay for it with the platinum or the gold? It's not fair that you have to pay out of pocket.
Well, I mean, we could just. I mean, I got plenty of gold also.
Why are y'all
but I
bragging
mean,
about your monies? we're gonna get robbed, you guys. We're gonna get robbed.
Well, no,
I
I'm
have
just
no
saying
idea.
that this is a group effort, so why not use the group money?
sure, we can use group money. Money's money.
All right. And that, as she hears it, she's watching this back and forth go. She then looks over to you, Roland, and says, "Yes, then. In platinum, that will be 20."
All right.
All right, here it is.
Dragon.
All right, mark off 20 platinum on there. And
Yeah,
she
I am.
kind of separates out a good bit of the chalk from the crate, and then a good bit of several stoppered large vials of ink, and hands it over to you, and says, "This has been a good day. Thank you. Please come back if you ever need anything. My name is Socha."
I have a question, Socha.
Yes.
How do I get rid of a cursed object?
Well, that depends. Some believe cursed objects are not really a thing, that it is really the individual that is cursed.
Oh,
Others say that you can get rid of it at certain holy sites. Or there's some who say they know the spells to get rid of curses.
Okay, cool.
But who is to say? Do you have a cursed object?
I think so. Do you want it?
I mean, no.
Okay. I'm gonna pull it out and show her. My what is it?
Your sword.
Sword. Yeah. The Vindicator.
The Vindicator. Yes. As you pull it out, this kind of slightly rusty edge, just block of steel, about 5 feet long. Her scaly eyebrows kind of raise up a little, and she says, yes, indeed, it looks cursed.
Yeah. Okay.
There actually, though, there may be someone to talk to. Well, you might try to find some type of cleric or priest or something like that. Sometimes they can be helpful with these things.
Okay. That's cool. Thank
Okay.
you. I'm done.
All right.
Okay.
Everybody else, you have your inks, your chalks. Do you want to spend any more time in Kittrell here?
It's been a while since we've been in a town.
I vote we stay in town overnight and go to the tavern.
I am gonna need a long rest to prepare for some things.
Might as well sleep in a real bed.
All right. Would you like to camp outside of town, or would you like a real night in a real bed?
Yeah, that one. The real night.
Yeah.
Real night, tavern.
Okay.
Boys' night.
So, walking through town, you find several kind of local taverns that they look nice enough, but they don't necessarily have rooms out around back or even above. But eventually, you find a little place called the Rotten Serpent Inn. It's kind of this ramshackle building. It's leaning slightly to one side, 2 stories tall. Walking in, you kind of understand why they might call it the Rotten Serpent. There's something about being close to this part of the shore here that just doesn't smell quite right. But it's not the worst smell. It's kind of that decomposing plant matter and sea life kind of smell you get when you're just close enough to the ocean to know it's there, but you're near like that brackish water kind of. And the whole place seems to just be infused with it. But you can also get a room here for about 5 copper a night. So, yeah, it's fairly cheap. They have fresh bread and hot food and passable beer.
Sounds good.
All right.
What do the women
So,
in here
getting in
look
a-
like?
The women. Most of the women in here are dragonborn.
Okay.
They're all. I mean, you don't know. Maybe Roland's into dragonborn.
He probably smells pretty
I don't
badly.
know. At this point, it's been a while since he had a bath. Yes. So the women and most of the dragonborn that you see are pretty tall. A lot of them around 7 to 8 feet. Some are a little bit shorter, but rarely are they even down to your height, Roland. Crumb, you feel strangely at home in this town, given that most of the doorways are built for someone your height.
Awesome.
It's quite nice, actually. It's the first place you've been in a long time where everything is built for someone like you. Also, the Dragonborn don't seem to give you any odd looks. At one point in town, you even saw another Goliath walking around, and seems to be a nice little place. In any case, Chomp, you spend your night resting, but also preparing this spell for use the next day. You're kind of excited, I'm sure. It's your first time trying to use it.
Oh yeah.
You've been theorizing for a while, and you think you've gotten the quantum entanglement theory down, but you're not quite sure. So you're going to find out.
This is some cutting edge spell work, you guys.
Okay. So, waking in the morning, you find that Kitril is just as quaint and welcoming as it was during the evening. It seems to wake up earlier than you did. Many of the fishermen are long out on the water by the time you actually roll out of bed. And I'm guessing, did you want to spend any more time looking around town, or did you want to go back and get your crystal and head out?
Can we ask around and see if there's any form of transportation back to whatever city that was we were on in the Spice Coast or whatever it was called? So that we can just bring the crystal to town and then like catch a ship or something?
Is there, I would, paladin? No, not paladin, cleric. Where do clerics go?
Yeah, I guess a temple or some kind of.
Yeah, they have a church here?
Yeah, looking around, make an investigation check real quick to see if you notice any temple.
7? 7.
You would assume that there probably is somewhere, but looking around, there's not a lot of religious even iconography here, which is odd, considering you would have expected maybe Dragonborn to maybe worship the Platinum Dragon or someone like that, but no, you don't really see much.
Yeah.
What about a medical, like look for hospital?
Hospital?
Yeah.
Is they healers?
A hospital.
Yeah.
No. There. Other than the apothecary shop you had been to, which had some healing herbs and things like that, there are a couple of healers here in town.
I say we go visit one of them. And
would you like to try to find one?
Yeah, if that's okay with the rest of the group. I'm getting really annoyed with this thing following me around.
While you're asking for that, I'm going to ask about ships, because I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to go back to those kobolds.
Well, we could teleport, I think is what we're trying to do, right?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
yeah,
Spaced out.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm saying.
as soon as we get back to that crystal, we're good to go.
All right. Going down through town, you a little bit up the coast, near the edge of town, you do find what was described to you as one of the healers, a nice older halfling man who welcomes you in, tells you his name is Charles, and asks, yes, what seems to be the problem?
Okay, so I found this weapon and it's been real weird. And now there's a thing talking to me and it's trying to get me to do bad stuff. And it's really bossy and I don't like being bossed around. And I want it to go away, but I think it's attached to this weapon. And I can't get rid of the weapon. It just keeps showing up. I don't know.
As you explain what's happening, this very nice older halfling man is just kind of watching you, his head to the side like dogs sometimes do. His jaw slowly kind of opens more and more as you're saying this, and he says, "Get out.
Oh shit!
Is this some kind of prank? What's Henry? Are you around here somewhere? What? He has no idea what the heck you're talking about.
Oh,
Say cursed object.
it's cursed. I think it's cursed. I need help.
I don't do things like that. I put poultices on people and I bandage up wounds. I set the occasional broken bone. I don't.
Oh, well,
What do you think
okay.
I'm?
Okay, my bad. I don't know about this stuff. I just thought you could help me. Do you know anybody that could?
Here? I'm not sure about that. That's you might try. Have you ever tried? I hear elves are good with this thing. What about him? Is he not? Don't you know magic? He points to you, Roland.
No.
Except for the magic of hitting on girls. Ha ha ha.
That's a skill, hun.
Boom.
Boom. Okay. Okay.
Roasted.
That wasn't helpful, but okay.
But yeah, it doesn't really seem like this is the kind of place where you're like, after asking around town a little bit more, that this is the kind of place you're going to find someone who could deal with a situation like you're in.
Okay.
Well, Crom, if you can,
I'll wait till we get back.
yeah, if you can hang on for a little while, I think we'll be able to find you somebody when we
Okay,
get
but
back
I'm
to
not
Sigourney.
responsible if something happens. I'm just saying.
Well,
There's a bloodthirst there. I don't know.
Ominous.
let's hope we don't have to find out about that.
Hey, I didn't say it.
Well,
But I
I
heard
don't
it.
have anything else.
Okay. So everybody else getting ready to go back and
Teleport.
out with your crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
get back to that crystal.
So it's another day's travel back to the crystal, pretty much. Most of the actual day's travel. And yes, walking through. Just for the heck of it, who wants to keep just an eye out as you're walking through?
I can do that. I would probably do that.
Yeah, roll a
I'm
perception
little
check.
on edge, so I think I'm 18.
Okay. Walking back through, you at one point think you once again hear the yips of kobolds. Kind of you catch like the echo of them coming through some of the ruins as you're going back down into the ravine. But you don't. Well, let's see. Oh, no, you don't see any during your day's march. And eventually you come back to the statue and the tomb and dig out your large shard of crystal that you had knocked loose. Chomp, where do you want to teleport?
I guess I know two locations,
Yes.
which are where again?
I believe you had seen the symbol for the location of the Temple of the Platinum Dragon in Stilben, which is on the coast where you had the party had first kind of formed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you also had seen the symbol in the spires of Uruk in Singorn, in the capital of the elves.
Right, where we got dropped off by that ship. Right? The airship?
No.
Well,
No, wait.
Singorn was where you had done a bunch of research and you had eventually had that confrontation with the Green Dragon and stuff.
I think that's where we're trying to go, right?
Well, you're trying to get back to. I mean, Usu, who's a priest of the green, or not the green dragon, a priest of the platinum dragon, was the one who had kind of charged you with trying to look into this idea of the betrayer shackles, and that's why you're trying to find the pieces right now to create it. So, and he might be there. He gets around a bit because you had seen him there. You had also seen him in Stillben at one point. So,
well, and both of those locations have permanent teleportation circles to other places as well, right?
yes.
So we just pick one and then use other circles, and I don't know.
All right. Cool.
Where you guys want to go?
Singhorn.
Singhorn. Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, so I grab my chalks and my inks and find a rock or a spot to start drawing these sigils and circles. I think it takes like a minute.
Okay. I mean, it's easy enough to do. Yeah, just as you all watch as he gets out the inks and the chalks and starts kind of first makes one kind of spiraling mark and then another, and kind of thinks for a second, makes more marks, and eventually this 10-foot wide kind of intricate pattern of runes and symbols appears on the stone surface of the ravine bottom here. And as you all watch and he makes the last mark, they all kind of flare to life with this blue light. And as they do, there's almost like the like a vision of light through blue water or something like that. This light starts dancing around, and as you've been walking most of the day, and so the sun has started to go down, and it's fairly dark and atmospheric here. And as the blue light kind of shines on your faces, you all stand around, and you all jumping into it.
I'm in shock. I'm just like, I did not think that was gonna work.
I'm ready to jump into it.
All right, we got one round to get through it.
That's 6 seconds.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Let's go. I jump.
Well, we need, and where I guess
We gotta grab the crystal.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
forget the
that's
crystal.
true.
Yeah, so
And there's only like a small chance that
we come out messed up.
you come out all janked up, or you end up in some limbo portal-gatory area. Yeah, portal-gatory.
Okay.
yes.
But that probably won't happen.
I trust you.
Yes. So this is this is teleportation circle, right? That's the
Yes, teleportation circle.
that's what I thought.
That's cool.
All right. Okay. So as you all step in at one time to the circle, you can see the ground there below the symbol, the glowing symbols, and your brain expects your foot to hit that stone once again as you're taking the step. And as you take the step forward, your foot does not land. And you all feel this feeling as if you are being pulled forward from your belly button into something, an amazingly long distance, but at the same time, it's happening extremely quickly. It's a rush for sure. And just at the point where you feel like you're about to be stretched out to infinity, there's almost this kind of snap, and you find your feet on solid ground, and you find yourself inside a room, a glowing circle fading, very similar to the one you had just stepped into, on the ground, fading out. Some burning torches on the walls, and you hear running footsteps from outside the door. Now, you had said Singorn, right?
Yes.
Whoa. Do we know what's going on there anymore?
No.
All right. So as the running footsteps come closer, a door you see in the wall opens up, and two of the... Oh, I need my Singorn notes. Sorry.
That was the temple, right?
Well, the Singorn is the Spires of Urek. It's like a magical university. It's
Okay.
and it's in the capital of the elves. You see two of the Verdant Guard that you remember from Singorn. They're emerald and gold helmets and armor, and but just like you remembered in the Spires before, the guards that run in don't have a sword or a spear with them, but have their hands out in front of them, a glow starting around both palms as they come towards you, as there are two of them. And they immediately say, "You there! What is the meaning of this? This was not a scheduled travel."
Everybody get out your boarding passes.
That was so cool. Y'all should try it.
I guess I'll step forward and...
Wrong circle? Sorry.
No, just tell him, I say,
It's Murph.
sorry, this is my first time on a teleportation circle.
Fair enough. All right. Walking through the door behind them, you see immediately the form of Usu, the same older human priest of the Platinum Dragon that you remember. And as he kind of puts his hand up and says, don't worry. I recognize them. I knew they were here the moment and he holds up one of the coins that you use to communicate with him sometimes, and he says, I felt them as soon as they came through.
I forgot about that. You could have called him or something,
Yeah. Please, all four of you, and there's only four now, but follow me. What?
Nothing. I said we killed the rest.
We killed the rest and ate them.
Yep.
Riz got her way. Anyway, and he kind of beckons you to follow him as he turns and goes back out into what you can now see is a familiar hallway that you have previously walked through out here. And the Verdant Guard kind of look at each other and stand to the side, allowing you to pass. He leads you a short time down the hall and into another door where you see a small study that's set up. A nice little fire is burning on the hearth, and there's a few lamps and candles lit around the area, and it's a nice little. It looks like this is probably based on some of the things you see, and as he settles down to a chair by the desk in this study, you kind of get the feeling that this is probably his study. This is Usu's study here in the Spires of Urek.
All right.
Cool. We did it. We didn't get sidetracked too much.
Too much. It's been several weeks. I hadn't heard from you, and we were starting to worry. I'm assuming he points over to the crystal as you put it down. So you've found some information then, and it seems you've started to try to assemble this thing.
Yes.
How many pieces have you gotten so far?
Of information? Well, you see, we learned lots of things.
Well,
Wait.
no, I mean, how many pieces of the shackles have you managed to collect to assemble them?
This one?
Yeah,
This
there's,
one?
let's see, let's count them up. We got the
One.
crystal, and
You had a green dragon scale as well.
Oh, yeah.
It was Shay's, but we can say that
Yeah.
for the sake of this, that it was kept in the bag of holding.
Yep.
All right, so we're part of the way there then.
So
Any plans on what you would like to do next? I mean, it seems like he looks over the list of things you showed him and says some of these are going to be a little hard. Much less just getting somebody to craft the thing once you find all the parts. Any ideas what you'd like to go after next? In any case,
Let me just pull out my list. Hold on. It's somewhere.
yes, on your list. If you remember, let me see if I can find my list. I need to pull it out too. Yes. Okay. So you've already found the 6 foot long thin piece of enchanting crystal. You also know you need to, and you also have one of the chromatic dragon scales you need. You need a chromatic dragon scale from each type of chromatic dragon. So you have green. You need white, red, blue, and black.
We had that one blue one.
Well, you had known a blue dragon.
Yeah.
And last you had heard he was somewhere in the city.
Cool.
we probably could have found some in the ruins.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah.
Because there's a big dragon skull.
Yeah. It's cool. We know where things could be. Okay. So we can find that blue dragon probably.
You also need some of the tears of Ayun.
What the hell?
There's I've only heard bits and pieces of this legend. There's supposed to be a fountain of some type at a temple for Ayun somewhere north of Vasselheim, and I don't know where it is exactly, but it's there aren't many temples to Ayun anymore. Hardly anybody has followed her in a while, actually. And then, of course, a piece of silk from Loth.
Oh. Great.
I'm not sure how you're going to find that one, but good luck.
I'm sure we'll find.
That'll be fun.
We'll figure it out.
That'll be fun.
In any case, we can keep the parts you found already here if you would like, and we can start getting them ready to assemble as soon as you find others.
And also, how would we go about scheduling a teleportation to here?
Well, I mean, you could have just used the coin and told me you were coming.
Yeah, that would have been smart.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't think it had that much range.
I have not found the range on it yet.
Okay. Cool.
So you'll be here pretty much. We can count on that, and you'll be able to.
We'll give you a call.
Well, I could be here fairly quickly usually, and if I'm not able to, somebody can be here to meet you.
Okay.
Okay.
Just now getting the hang of this teleportation.
How about getting this curse? I have a curse on me, my object.
Oh.
This sword, and I'll pull out the sword, and
And he kind of carefully takes it and listens to your story about it and lays it down on the desktop in front of you, kind of over his papers on the writing desk. And gets a frown on his face as he's listening to you and says, Well, that's interesting. This entity you say is speaking to you. Its name is what?
Riz.
Riz. And where did you find this object?
It was like stuck in like the skull of a dead thing. Demon. What was it? Monster thing?
It was like
It looked like a scary skull head, and I pulled it out, and it was cool at first, but I don't like it.
Well, I mean, did you ever think to yourself, well, why would something be stuck inside a demon skull? For that matter, why was a demon skull still here in the material plane after the thing had died?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, these are great questions.
Yeah, really, we could have used that.
In any case, give me a moment, and he starts to kind of put his hands out over it as he's kind of concentrating, and you see a little bit of a white glow starting between his hands and the object. He's kind of chanting to himself under his breath, and as eventually the white glow fades, and he kind of sits back, his hands fall into his lap, and he says, okay, this is worse than I thought. I'm afraid
Not what you wanted.
it's not so much that this is a cursed item. That would be easy enough to deal with, just quick like that. This item is a conduit to a deity. Based on some things you've said and what I can see about it, I think I know what Riz is short for. This sword is a direct conduit to Tharizdun.
Oh, it's a cute little nickname.
Oh.
You've been communing with the Chained Oblivion, or some extension of it, or something like that. Maybe some shard of it that's left here.
Oh, hell yeah.
Whoa.
I don't know what to do. You might, if you are going to a Temple of Ayun, that might be your best bet for getting rid of this.
Okay.
She was, during the calamity and the War of the Gods, his greatest foe. So maybe you could, two birds and one stone and all that.
Yeah.
Just be careful before you get there. It's a difficult. You all all of you keep an eye on her.
Cool.
Okay.
Oh,
Will do.
So leaving that aside, he hands the sword back to you. Where are you going next?
That place.
I mean, I guess we'll try that one. I mean,
Or we could try to find that blue dragon. Wasn't he last in Singling anyway?
yeah. I guess while we're here, we try to.
What do y'all think?
I think we need to get you to the Temple of Ayun.
I mean, that is a priority.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, Crom, you seem to be getting more. I don't know. It seems to be affecting you more now, more and more.
You mean this eye twitch isn't normal?
Yes, that eye twitch is getting concerning.
So
Crom?
is Riz there while we're talking about her? Or it?
Always.
Yeah, as are you asking Crom?
Riz she's always there, man.
Yeah, and Crom, as he was explaining this, Riz is sitting kind of next to you, just kind of smiling and nodding and looking back and forth between you and him.
Crumb, I am not attuned to that sword. Do you want me to carry it for a while for you?
I don't think that would work. I mean, if you want to experiment with it, but I've tried
I
to
don't.
like leave
I-
it, and it just keeps coming back. I can't leave it. It's kind of connected.
Oh well, I was hoping
Yeah.
maybe Riz wouldn't your little friend wouldn't bother me since I'm not attuned.
Yeah. Good idea though, but yeah, man, she's kind of a bitch. I don't know. I think I'm stuck with her until I can go to that place. For sure.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna try not to kill anybody. Okay.
Okay.
Unless they start something with me.
So-
I mean, it happens.
I mentally talk to Chomp and be like, you know, we have a serious problem when we have a fragment or whatever it is of the same being that we're trying to defeat hanging with us.
Yeah. I nod my head.
I mean, yeah.
Less than ideal.
Well, let's go
Well,
fixed, I guess. But like,
All right.
for real, I would like to have another weapon later, you guys. So if you see anything, let me know about it. If I have to get rid of this weapon, eventually, just keep your eye out.
I mean, do you think you could get by not using it?
It's really cool, though.
But
It does so many damages.
yeah, but like it's just a really good weapon, so
We'll see.
I mean, yeah. All right.
Makes me-
So all of you want to try to? We're looking at going to the Temple of Ayun.
I guess so.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Let me find. I need to get out my map. Let me find my map. Okay. So as Usu kind of leaves you to discuss what you're going to do, he kind of goes over to the other side of his study, and he starts shuffling through some papers, and you all kind of settle in. Who is proficient in history?
I believe I am. Yeah, I am.
Sirthus, are you proficient in history?
I am.
All right. Could the both of you roll a history check?
And if it's regarding what is it? My artificer's lore. If it's regarding a magic item, alchemical object, or technological device, I can add twice my proficiency.
Okay.
If not, then not.
Yeah, this is just generally about where you're going. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I got a 20.
20. Okay.
I got a 20 modified as well.
All right. 2 20s. So, both of you kind of sharing some, comparing your notes together, realize that you've learned a little bit over the years about the area he's talking about. Vasselheim is the oldest city on Earth. It's referred to as the Dawn City, the first place where civilization sprang up twice on Exandria. The first time, most of civilization was wiped out by what then became the Betrayer Gods, and then eventually civilization grew back from the same city. There's major temples there to all of the Exandrian pantheon, and it's quite a ways across the Osmit Sea on another continent known as Islora. It's a lot of the continent, a lot more of that continent is towards the Arctic, and as such, it's colder. It's harder to live there. There's a lot fewer beings who try to live on Islora, except for in Vasselheim. Ayun, the god of wisdom and knowledge, was reportedly injured during the last battle of the Calamity, when Tharizdun was locked away. She was the one that dealt the blow that allowed him to be held in place and then shackled away. But in doing so, she was very, very wounded and hasn't been heard from much ever since in the last 800 or so years. Not many of her followers are left around the world. Many of them were wiped out during the war, and because she hasn't been very vocal or anything since, it's been hard for her religion to grow. And so there's, like Usu had said, there's not many of her temples anywhere. But it seems that you're being told there is one north of Vasselheim, somewhere out in the frigid expanse between the forests and the mountains there. Especially this time of year, it will be very, very cold. But as Usu comes back over, he lets you know that they may be able to get you at least part of the way. He believes they can get you a emergency exemption to teleport into the circle in Iman, the capital city of Taldore, where you had previously been on one of your previous adventures. He lets you know at this point that the city is currently under siege. But it may be possible to catch a ship from there, or a skyship even, depending on what's available.
They're under siege from whom?
Well, it turns out over the last month or so, as you all have been out doing other things in other places, that hobgoblin army that had been marching north, and you had kind of skirted around to go into the Underdark, has made its way north and has kind of ravaged the western coast of Taldore and even parts of Singorn, and has now laid siege to the capital of Taldore, managing to catch most of their army inside the walls.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of didn't handle that. Huh.
We don't have time to get involved liberating Singhorn. Taldore.
True.
Yeah.
Or both.
Yeah.
But like you said, they can get you that close at least to Amon. It'll get you to the coast.
Cool.
At which point you would have to see if you could find transport.
Yeah, we always find.
If there are hobgoblins around the city, is transport a viable option?
Things get in and out. As any siege these days on a major city, it won't cripple the city. It won't kill the city anyway. Some things get in and out. It's just taking a chance. The hobgoblins, they have wyvern riders, things like that, their own skyships, as well as firearms that can take down such things.
Damn.
So you're taking a chance for sure. But if you're wanting to get this line to this evil being out of your friend, you're going to have to go there anyway. And you need the waters from the spring there as something as the quenching agent when you're making the shackles, and so it must be done. You could, of course, go off in search of a chromatic dragon to steal its scales, or hunt down Lolth, take some of her spider web. But it's up to you.
I mean, we got.
I'm worried about my friend.
Yeah, we got to do it all eventually, and even though this is a longer journey than some of the other items we need to get, we got to get them all, and this one also has the added purpose of getting rid of Crom's problem.
All right, then. That we'll have to do. It's settled. You're going to Iman and then on to Isilra. It'll be great. It's been many years since I've even been able to go to Vasselheim. It's quite the place.
Oh, you want to come along?
Well, no, not especially.
Okay.
There may be some issues I left behind there, unresolved, lest I was there, which is why I have not been back in many years. As it so happens, it's also why there's no teleportation circles that are able to access Vasselheim anymore, but that's another story. In any case...
Uzu, I think we have time before we leave to hear all about this.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that I have time, actually.
Yeah, I
I
raise an eyebrow and am like, oh, Uzo, you got some I don't know, like sounds like you were kind of a wild child. Had some
Well, there was a time in my life, many, many years ago, where I was known to raise up a ruckus, I guess you could say.
Never would have guessed.
In any case, I don't know. It's just
Before
it's been a
you-
long time. Yes, sorry.
I'm changing the subject, but I want to know if you have anything like an amulet or anything that Crumb can wear to help protect herself.
To protect herself, I'm not sure there's much we can do.
Not use the weapon.
I'm not sure at this point that would help.
Yeah.
From what you said, it's bound to you, for good or evil now.
Well, gosh, Crom, don't look so disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, he looks around kind of and looks in a drawer in his desk, closes it. I'm really at a loss for what I could do. I could give you a blessing of Bahamut, if you think that would help. It may help.
Cool. Yeah, I'll take it.
Maybe.
Maybe they
Yes,
need something. Maybe
Yeah, he kind of. Sorry.
Go ahead. I was just gonna say maybe the people I'm traveling with need protection more than I do. But no, I'll take it.
He kind of puts his hands out to all four of you and starts chanting in Draconic, just a little bit, and you all feel kind of this. You feel a presence kind of enter the room, almost like kind of the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. And as he finishes, it kind of fades away, and you know it felt not unpleasant. and something happened. I'm checking on anything. There is the library here in the spires of Urek. If there's anything you would like to research or something, or would you like to transport right out to Iman and start on your way?
I think we should well, forget it.
Yeah, I don't know what the nerds need to look at. So, the book people, y'all need to look at something.
I mean, depending on how many hours we're gonna, we want to stay here a while. I could look up some spells.
If it's useful, like really useful.
What are you saying? I have spells that aren't useful?
No comment.
I don't know. What spells do you have?
That teleportation was pretty useful.
That was pretty useful.
The T-Rex was awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Side note, I did find in the I think it's in the monster manual that I could polymorph into.
And it's up to you. It's up to y'all. If you think what's and what?
I had just seen in other things I could polymorph into in the. I think it's in the monster manual. Quetzalcoatlus, gigantic flying reptile. Anyway.
That's fun.
Yeah, so we could.
I don't know if I have that. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I think it's in the monster manual. I don't know if it's unlocked. I don't think it's unlocked on D&D Beyond, but anyway, the only thing I could think of would be either to look up some spells to learn in the library, or if there's any other information we would need to look up to help us in this next leg of the journey on specifics about, I don't know, anything we could do to prepare. Oh, definitely. Oh, we need to get some cold weather provisions, like a big woolly hat or something.
That's what I was going to say, but then it occurred to me we could probably buy them more easily whenever we get where we're going. I forgot the name.
Vasselheim. Okay. So, well, for spells, is there any spell or type of spell that you're interested in?
What do you think we'll come up against? Anything that would help with dealing with Loth eventually, or dragons eventually? Those are the things that we'll be having to deal with.
And we can...
Yeah, we could sit on it, I guess, until next time. Oh, my bunny's name is... I don't know if y'all watched John Oliver Last Week Tonight. Have y'all heard of it?
I'm losing y'all for some reason.
Oh, have you heard of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver?
That's true. Yes.
Anyway, Marlon Bundo is the rabbit, the Almirant's name. It's Marlon Bundo.
I forgot about the bunny corn. That's right.
Yep.
Marlon Bundo.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, we could sit on it until next time because it's getting on.
But I guess we should
Okay,
just plan on like taking a long rest here before we go. Something like that.
Yeah, there'll be a long rest. Yeah. And then you'll be heading into a war zone.
Cool.
But yeah. Well, thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
That was a fun time.
Yeah.
That was
always have
awesome.
fun.
Thank
And
you.
Next time, next time it'll get real interesting, I'm sure. Oh, there's plans.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, is 2 weeks again okay for everybody?
Yes.
Yep.
What date is it? What day is that?
That will be
Yes.
August 2nd.
Oh my God, really? Is it
Sex.
already about to be August?
Yes.
Yeah.
Holy crap! The year. Oh
Yeah.
my God, this year is stupid.
Yeah. That feels like the truest statement I've heard in a while. This year is stupid. By the way, how's job stuff? Are you looking right now or?
I'm looking, but I don't know. Everything is stupid.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, we can all
But-
try to keep a lookout
yeah.
for you too.
Yeah.
It's like what you're saying. There's not just a ton of available jobs for schools and stuff right now.
And at this point,
Why would that be?
I don't even care if it's a school or if I teach. I just need something
Yeah.
that's not fast
Okay.
food, preferably. I don't want to
Oh,
go to
gosh.
fast food.
Kristen, I'll ask my friends about teaching availability.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for you. 'Cause
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah. Okay, thank you guys.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming. I'll see you all on the 2nd.
Okay.
All right, bye y'all.
All right, bye.
Have a good one. Thanks again.